is. So along the way to working on these songs, I was gone a lot, and my good friend Shelley Ray Corntweed, who has been the manager at my guitar store for 9+ years now, she had a copy of the book, and she said she liked the book, and she was reading the book, but we never really talked about writing until one day she showed up at the store, and she had her copy of the book, and it, you know, those little Post-it notes that are like little bitty ones that you put on stuff to get people to sign things, little flags. It had about 150 of those sticking out of the book. I said, are you making some notes? And she said, well, maybe I got a little something going on. And she's a good songwriter, but we had just never talked about it, and I was embarrassed that I hadn't brought it up. But we got to working on it, and she had written a poem for starters, and a song sort of that went with it, but it kind of didn't fit my my singing or playing style. And I said, do you mind if I take that and we work on this together? So that's where this song came from, and it's called The Cracks of Time. And another example of how the songs came out of the book, there's a moment in the book where they're talking about a woman in the book who truly is sort of a heroine. Her name is Cindy, oddly enough. And thanks for doing that, Billy. That was good, man. But Cindy is taking care of a lot of people in the book who are in poor health, and if you've ever been a caretaker, that takes a toll, obviously. And it said, my grandfather's words were, Cindy lived in little cracks of time, meaning she just, when she could, she had a life of her own, is how I took that. And so Shelley took that line, and then there's other information in there about the young man I spoke about earlier who kind of came into the world under dubious circumstances, and we took those two things and combined them. So the moral of the story is we weren't trying to retell the book verbatim or anything like that. We were just trying to use it as inspiration and a launching pad for these songs. And I found that to be a really useful exercise as a songwriter. It got me out of my own head a little bit, although they all found their way back into my head somehow. You did not ask to be dealt this hand, but their lies fell firmly on your shoulders. A burden undeserved by an innocent man, left hesitant and lonely in a world so cold. Now you're living in these cracks of time. Day runs into night, and heartache blurs the line between what's right and what's wrong, who's left and who's gone, living in these cracks of time. Broken on the wheel of circumstance, I set your own soul free. Those of us who loved you and brought you to this dance could not stop that soundless second like it was meant to be. Now you're living in these cracks of time. The day runs into night, and your heartache blurs a line between what's right and what's wrong, who's left and who's gone, living in these cracks of time. Well, no angels marching hand in hand, no mandolins to play you home. You've outrun your last mistake, those left behind must carry on. carry on without your song. The day runs into night, and your heartache blurs the line between what's right and what's wrong, who's left and who's gone. Where every breath you take is the scene of the crime, living in these cracks of time, living in these cracks of time, living in these cracks of time. Thank you.